Welcome to Yoga with Stephen. In this video, we're going to be practicing 9 classic prone poses lying on our front to stretch and strengthen our back. In yoga, we use lots of different orientations such as standing, sitting, lying on our front, lying on our back, lying on our side, upside down, to move the pressures around the body and to create a wonderful holistic experience. Lying on your front is not the go-to position if you've got an injured back, but if you have a healthy, warmed up spine, it's a great way to build a strong, resilient back, especially flexing and strengthening those back muscle fibers. In my classic routine, I start with standing poses, then seated poses, then lying on your front, then lying on your back, then upside down. So I recommend you insert this sequence into the middle of a longer exercise routine so that your body and back are already warmed up when we do this sequence. But if you do need to warm up your spine, we're going to use our first pose, which is Tadpole Pose, to heat and prepare our body. So let's begin with our first prone pose, which is Tadpole Pose. And so for this, we're going to come to this side of the mat. And Tadpole Pose is from classic kneeling position. Now, if you find kneeling position painful or uncomfortable, then the alternative is to lie on your back in that position. Recline child pose or fetus pose. And the other option is to hold your toes, that's called baby pose. So there's your two options if kneeling is not comfortable for you. But if it is comfortable for you, it's a really great way to stretch out those ankles, knees, thighs, and in this forward bend position, lower back as well. So we're going to stretch forward. This is called Tadpole Pose. It's also called Easy Frog Pose. It's also called wide-kneed child pose. And so this is just a lovely way just to stretch those muscles. This is an example of a squeeze pose in yoga. We start normally with gentle stretches and then we kind of lock them in with various squeezes. And this is obviously using your body weight to stretch those thighs and that back. And we can turn this into a bit of a nice flow. It's quite good to practice opening the chest at this point, pulling in your lower back, stretching forward. You can synchronize it with your breath, breathing in as you come up, breathing out as you flow forward. Breathing in as you come up. Feel that precious squeeze on those thighs. Breathing out as you go forward. Feel that lower back stretching. And now we're going to just increase the activation of our back with some downward facing poses. Classic pose is the downward dog position. Feel that lovely stretch in those legs and the lower back, and if the heels are getting into the ground, eventually in the shoulders as you lower your head towards the floor. And then we're going to increase the activation with plank position, and then we're going to have a go upward dog, feeling the back bend. The weight is in the wrists and the feet, the body is not on the floor. Back into downward dog. So you've got to be careful of your wrists. Don't do anything that strains or hurts the wrist. So this is meant to feel good, not to hurt. The pressure on the wrist in downward dog is the gentlest of the three. Plank increases the pressure. Upward dog increases the pressure. So only go up to a point where it feels good. Don't inflame your wrists in any way at all. So back into plank. Back into downward dog. We're really just trying to activate the back. Back we go into plank. And if you want to increase the activity, have a go at chaturanga. And then slowly coming up again. Wonderful. Just a gentle little warm up for the back there. Back we go into kneeling position. Let's do a couple more flowing forward poses. And up we come again. Last time, flowing forward. Into pose number 1, Tadpole Pose. The gentlest of the kneeling forward bends because the wide knees makes it easier. If your body's getting squeezed, the wider the knees, the easier it is for you. Okay, so we're going into the second pose, which is called Crocodile, prone crocodile. This is a relaxation position. And as soon as you lie on your front, you notice the pressures on your back change. It does kind of stretch out your back, but in a very gentle way. So just notice any pressures in your back. Be aware of what's going on. It's such a lovely feeling with the thumbs touching and the toes touching. It's a side stretch as well because you're lengthening your body. The floor makes you lengthen your body. And it's just a lovely way just to relax all the muscles, but with a different orientation to normal. So this is our second pose. So we're going to go in, that's prone crocodile. So we're going to go into our third pose now, which is called swing locust. And the locust series of poses are designed to strengthen and activate those back muscles. So to get into our first one, we're going to just widen the hands to shoulder width apart, widen the feet to hip width apart. And we're going to start using those muscles. So I'm going to lift my head, lift my arm, and lift that leg up behind me. Just to use those back muscles, see how they feel. Okay, we're going to change to the other side. Lift that arm, lift that back leg. See how that feels. Down we go again. And then, if you can, both together. And you might even be able to get a little swing motion going on. That's why it's called swing locust. Activating all the muscles in your back. And so now we're going to move into side locust, activating the muscles on the side. So just rolling onto our side. Feel that lovely shoulder stretch there. Get used to the feeling again. It's always good to relax into the first position first. Just let those muscles relax. Then I'm going to lift the bottom thigh off the floor. It may not be very high, but just using those upper side muscles. And I'm going to lift the top leg to add a bit more to it. And if you want to add a bit more, try some leg circles. In locust poses, should the knees bend or should the knees be straight? Well, you're trying to use your thighs, the key thing. So if bending the knees means you're not using your thighs, then work on the straight legs. But you can bend the knees a bit, it doesn't matter. Sometimes it sort of helps with the flow of the feel of it. So we're going to switch to the other side. I'm just going to change around the other way. Just for the sake of looking at the camera, basically. So that other side is now, the side we've just strengthened is now stretching with the help of the shoulder, lying flat on the floor. And I'm going to lift those legs up in the air. And then add the top one. And have a go at some circles too. And down we go on that side, having activated that side of my body. And I'm just going to come back to the front again. Back we go, down onto the floor. And this time we're going to bring the hands beside the body. Now this is a preparation really for Cobra Pose, the next classic prone pose after the side locust. And so it's quite nice to practice your neck stretch in this position. Just let that head go to the left side. And then move your head to the right side. Feeling that stretch in your neck. If you can lie on your front and put your head to the side, it means you've got roughly a 90-degree rotation in the back, which is the kind of healthy rotation we're normally looking for. So now for the classic Cobra, my forehead is going onto the floor and my hands are coming under the shoulders, as close to the top of the shoulders as possible, the fingertips. I'm going to bring those heels in. The closer the legs are, the bigger the stretch. The wider the legs, the easier it is, right? So if you're struggling with it, widen the legs. If you want to increase the stretch, bring those legs together. Shoulders in, low, Up we come, head lifting, chest opening, slowly rising, slowly rising. You notice I'm keeping my elbows bent and the shoulders low. You should be able to move those shoulders in Cobra Pose because they're meant to be low. There's no forcing of the shoulders. It's all in the back. The head is looking up towards the sky, following the flow of your spine. And we're slowly going to sink down again. Wonderful job. Forehead on the ground. Hands back beside the body. Excellent. So that's your classic supported stretch. A Cobra Pose. Works on the chest and the lower back at the same time. And so now we're going to do classic locust position as our next pose, which is focused particularly on the lower back, strengthening the lower back. And so for this, you need a fist position with your thumb and first finger wrapped around like that. And they're going to go flat on the floor under your body. And so I'll just show you that position there. So we're going to be lying in that position, thumbs touching, first fingers on the floor to create a lever. So chin on the mat, come up onto tiptoe. And again, we start one side at a time, just to other side, just to make sure we're using those muscles. They feel fine, nothing feels dodgy. Fist into the ground, up we go. Lift those thighs and back down we go. Using your lower back. So now it's time to counter stretch the back. So we're going to come back into kneeling position. Classic child pose. My thighs are more forward now. And the hands are coming forward. Sometimes it's called prayer child pose or prayer pose sometimes. Kneeling prayer pose, because the hands are forward in the sort of prayerful position. And so in this position, again, this is meant to feel like a restorative, lovely, relaxing position, not a painful one. If you find the squeeze in your tummy is too much, widen the knees, gives your tummy more space essentially. In this position, the first objective, in a sense, is for your forehead to touch the ground. The second is for your hips to touch your heels. Okay, so we've got one more classic prone pose to do and then one more relaxing prone pose to do. And this one is the famous bow position. So this is your classic fully bound supported stretch. Supported as in things are holding your limbs together. So it's all about stretching more than strength, this one. The first thing is, can you hold your ankles? The second thing is, can you touch your pelvis with your heels? Your forehead starts in the ground so that your neck is relaxed and straight. It doesn't matter if you can't touch your pelvis with your heels, but it's something to, get a sense of how big your stretch is. As long as you can hold your ankles, that's really what you need to do for this pose. Lift the head, push those feet up behind you, open that chest, and then you may well be able to get a nice rock and roll going on. I always like to say, move with your whole body, so you're rocking and rolling, rather than head banging. It's my little yoga joke. Okay, out we come again. Stretch those legs again. And if you do get rocking, it means you've got a good bend. It's really demonstrating you've got a good bend. Also gives you a bit of a massage of those tummy organs. We're going to come back again into kneeling position. And usually, if your pelvis is touching your heels or it's close to them, so there's not a lot of pressure on your head, we now go to our final pose, which is classic child pose with the palms backwards. So with the palms forward, with the hands forward, it supports your head more if your hip is lifted more. But if your hip is sunk down on the heels and there's little pressure on your head, it's just relaxing there,
Bring the arms back and it gives those shoulders a rest. And they're now dangling loose too. And this is a wonderful position to really relax. It's a restorative recovery pose. I use it a lot just to gently stretch my back and my thighs. It's a very good pose after a long walk, just to stretch out those thighs again if they've tightened up from a long walk. And it's a pose in which we can cool down. Feel your heartbeat slowing down, your breathing slowing down, your metabolism slowing down. And there we go, so wonderful. We're going to come out of that position. Shall we open that back again, open that chest, and we're going to come forward again. Thank you very much for joining me with 9 classic prone poses to stretch and strengthen your back. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.